Okay, so I'm sitting here at like 2 a.m. watching some deep sea documentary because I have the sleep schedule of a raccoon, and I'm just staring at my screen thinking, these creatures are literally living in a world we know less about than Mars. Like, we've mapped more of the surface of the moon than we have the ocean floor. And that's not even the weird part. So today I want to talk about deep sea creatures and specifically the stuff that I think doesn't get talked about enough. Because everyone's like, oh, look at the anglerfish with its scary light. But there's so much weirder shit going on down there that my brain can't even fully process. First thing that keeps me up at night? The pressure. Like, I can't even handle the pressure of responding to a text message within a reasonable time frame. But these creatures are living under pressure that would literally crush a human body into, I don't even know what, a smoothie? They're existing in conditions where every square inch of their body has like thousands of pounds pressing down on it, and they're just vibing, swimming around, living their best life. Meanwhile, I get a headache if I stand up too fast. And here's what gets me about that. We always think of evolution as this thing that happens slowly over millions of years, right? But these fish didn't just wake up one day and decide, yeah, I'm gonna go live where the pressure could kill literally anything else. They had to gradually adapt to increasingly hostile conditions, which means there were generations and generations of fish that were like, you know what would be fun? Going deeper. And the ones that couldn't handle it just died. That's so dark. Like, imagine being the fish that's like, I'm gonna try living a little deeper today, and your body's just like, absolutely not. Also, can we talk about the darkness for a second? Because I get anxious in my room at night if I can't see my phone screen, but these creatures live in complete and total darkness. Not like, oh, it's nighttime darkness. I'm talking zero light. None. Nothing has reached down there in millions of years, so a lot of them just don't have eyes. Or they have eyes, but they're basically useless. Some of them evolved to make their own light instead, which is simultaneously the coolest and creepiest thing I've ever heard. Bioluminescence is wild, by the way. Like, these fish are walking around, swimming around, whatever, with essentially glow sticks attached to their bodies, and they use it for everything. Attracting mates, finding food, confusing predators. It's like if humans evolved to have built-in flashlights, which, honestly, I would love that. I'm always losing my phone when I need to find something in the dark. But here's something I literally never considered until recently, and it kind of broke my brain. Food. Like, where does the food come from down there? Because it's not like there are plants growing on the ocean floor in complete darkness. There's no photosynthesis happening. So, what are they eating? And the answer is so bleak I almost can't handle it. They're eating dead stuff. Stuff that falls from above. It's called marine snow. Which sounds pretty until you realize it's just corpses and poop and bits of decomposing matter slowly drifting down from the surface, like the world's most depressing snowfall. And most deep sea creatures are just sitting there with their mouths open waiting for something, anything, to float by. Because food is so scarce down there that they literally cannot afford to be picky. They've evolved these huge mouths and expandable stomachs so they can eat prey that's bigger than they are, because they might not get another meal for weeks. Or months. I get cranky if I skip breakfast, and these fish are out here thriving on one meal per fiscal quarter. Speaking of which, the whole food scarcity thing has led to some absolutely unhinged evolutionary adaptations. Like the male anglerfish, the male doesn't hunt. Instead, he finds a female and literally fuses his body to hers. Like, permanently. He becomes a parasitic appendage that just exists to provide sperm when she needs it. His organs deteriorate, he loses his eyes, and he's just there, attached to her for the rest of his life. And I'm sitting here thinking, that's one way to solve the finding a partner in the dark problem, I guess. But also, sir, are you okay? The size thing messes with me too, because we have this idea that deep sea creatures are all massive, right? Giant squids and whatever. But most of them are actually pretty small, except when they're not. Because there's this phenomenon called deep sea gigantism, where some species just grow way bigger than their shallow water relatives, and scientists aren't even totally sure why. The leading theory is something about the cold temperature and high pressure and slow metabolism, but it's still kind of a mystery, which means there could be absolutely massive creatures down there we haven't even discovered yet, and that thought is somehow both terrifying and exciting. Also, I just want to point out that we've only explored like 5% of the ocean. 5%. That means 95% of it is completely unknown to us. There could be entire ecosystems down there, creatures we can't even imagine, and we're just up here on land being like, yeah, we've got it all figured out. We really don't. We have no idea what's down there. And honestly, maybe that's for the best, because every time we send a submarine down there, we find something that looks like it was designed by someone who was trying to create the creepiest possible animal. Like the barrel-eye fish with its transparent head, or the goblin shark that looks like it's permanently screaming, or the vampire squid, which isn't actually a squid or a vampire, but definitely looks like both. These creatures exist in a world so alien to us that it might as well be another planet, and they're just living their lives completely unbothered by the fact that they're nightmare fuel for everyone on the surface. So basically, deep sea creatures are living in what is essentially hell by human standards. Complete darkness, crushing pressure, freezing temperatures, no food. Everything wants to eat you or mate with you in the weirdest way possible, and they're just fine with it, thriving even. And I think there's something kind of beautiful about that. Or maybe I just need to go to bed because it's 3 a.m. now and I'm getting philosophical about fish. Anyway, that's all I've got. Thanks for letting me ramble about weird ocean stuff. Peace.